What is up, YouTube and IG Live? I'm on now. I'm live on YouTube, IG Live. I wanted to talk to you guys about, um, as you can see, the Stevens Tanker side they closed down, and I wanted to get on and talk about that. So let's talk about it. So as you know, I started my trucking journey off at Stevens Transport, and we went company. We leased two trucks. Before I left, I did try to go over to the tanker side, but that didn't work out too much. Right, they wouldn't let me go to tanker, so that's when I left and went to JB Hunt. So when I was trying to go tanker before, I'd be in like Laredo on loads and stuff like that, and I would talk to some of the tanker guys and ask them, saying what they thought about tanker, and I would see them on the yard and all the time, and I would ask them about their pay and stuff like that, and they always like had good things to say about the Stevens Transport tanker side, which is why I wanted to go over there because I felt like it was a little bit more consistent um, than me being a lease driver over the road. Like they made more consistent money, so that's what prompted me with trying to get over there. Like I said, all the drivers had always good things to say about it, but that's pretty much what I'm saying why I wanted to go over there to the tanker side, and I feel like with what happened, kind of with Stevens, than me being a lease driver. What happened with Stevens? I think those drivers are kind of in a weird position, right? I feel like now they have to kind of scramble. They did give them some notice, right? If you can see, like I saw the letter on YouTube, they gave them some notice about what I'm saying them closing it down, which is good. But those drivers have now they have to like kind of scramble, right? So like, what's next for those drivers? Like, I hope really that they can land on their feet because that's kind of a weird place to be in with not knowing like kind of where that next check is coming. Because like they're doing, I think they're doing like they're out 3 weeks and then they're home like a week or whatever, if I can remember correctly. It was like you spent some time out there in Laredo. You spent some time out there like hauling sand in the water. I don't know. I think it's sand and water they're shutting down. Like that was a whole tanker side. Um, so like I really hope that those drivers were saving money. I hope they were doing like investing their money and getting prepared for the next step, for the next, what I'm saying, the next thing, adding that experience to the resume, and really networking out there. I know, like in the oil field, networking is huge, and like if there are still jobs out there, I know that if they network, because that's how I started talking to those drivers. I would talk to them at the fuel pump, at the truck stop. I would always see the tanker drivers out there in South Texas, fueling up in their jumpsuits and whatever on top of the tankers, like checking their equipment out. So I would always network with them and talk to them and see like kind of what their days were like, what their pay was like, how they their hometown was like, and stuff like that. So like really networking for those guys, I think is really crucial because they have already experience in the oil field, right? So having that experience, I think, will open doors for them. They can put that on their resume. That'll open doors for them to get to that next, what I'm saying, that next step. Because I think it's going backwards, right? If they go company, and I think they know that, and that's why they didn't drive company. It's kind of going backwards, going from tanker to company, or the next option would be going from tanker to leasing a truck, right? What's going on Facebook? DME CEO, Buck the General. So it will be kind of going backwards for those tanker drivers at Stevens Transport to go company, and then they don't want to drive over the road, right? They were doing pretty much. It was like probably like a dedicated account like I'm on right now. Um, but what I'm saying, they were staying inside of Texas mostly. I saw some tanker trucks in Louisiana, and um, yeah. So going backwards, going over the road would not be the prospective position for those drivers because they're used to doing that. You know what I'm saying? They do their 3 weeks, they go home. Even though you can do something like that over the road, but being out there over the road is not for everybody. Um, so going company side, I'm sure, like I said, it said on the letter, Stevens Transport has like company side jobs for everybody, right? The company side, they're not going to pay them as much. I don't think. I would hope they did, like, would give them some type of increase or whatever, or, you know what I'm saying, try to match up to what they were making out there. But leasing side, that's a lot of responsibility. Some of those guys probably, you know what I'm saying, don't want to lease because they know some of the pitfalls of leasing. They've probably seen and laughed at the lease drivers, right? I know that when I talk to them about leasing, when I would see them, they would be like, nah, that's not, you know what I'm saying, why don't you come over here? Because we're doing good, we're making money. So it's sad to see that that position now is closing for those guys. They have also they can leave and go. No, I didn't go tanker, Jamin Taylor, but I was trying to go tanker after I had leased 2 trucks. I was trying to go tanker, and I was trying to get over there because they were making more consistent money. I felt like than the over the road drivers and also the lease drivers that were over the road. So it was one of the things I talked about. Like I got the email packet and everything to go tanker side. The dilemma with me was just I think I had like some money that I owed on the truck, like that I had to make up from like a week I was out of the truck. I had to go up and make that money up, but I had the money in my my reserve account that I could have, you know what I'm saying, took it out the reserve account. For some reason they were being weird about that. So, you know what I'm saying? I got the whole invite to go into tanker. Like they sent me the paperwork, they sent me the emails. Like you didn't have to get hazmat. It was just like some things you had to do as far as like being physically fit. Obviously, I passed that, but I never went tanker side. I did not. I always spoke to the tanker drivers. They were always very cool, very, you know what I'm saying? They seemed like they were doing well out there. So, like I said, I really hope that they have somewhere that they can land. Like I said, company lease, or they can leave and go to another company. Um, like I said, they have tons of experience out in the oil field. If there are still oil field positions, I'm sure there are still oil field positions out there that will pay them pretty good. They can also go owner op, but you know what I'm saying. Having that mindset of owner operator, it's a lot different as far as OTR, and then going um, owner op in the oil field. I'll have someone I talk to kind of consistently on Twitter who's in the oil field, and he really talks it up. And so far, he's saying that there's still money out there. So I wouldn't give up if I was a tanker driver. Like I said, if I had that experience, I would definitely like start putting together like some type of resume. I'll start putting together a resume with my experience, and then just shooting it out to different companies. From what the guy on Twitter really tells me, like it's all about connections and networking, right? Everybody talks on the oil field side. They all like when someone knows a good position, you know what I'm saying, they'll say, hey, go here, go there, and everybody will still eat. So I'm really hoping that these guys are networked enough to where they can do that and land on their feet. Um, you really got to be a couple of steps ahead in this trucking industry. So, with that, like if you guys have any comments, go ahead and drop them. But I'm about to get off live. I just wanted to come on here and talk about that for a little bit. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody showing up, commenting. If you have any comments that you weren't able to leave on the replay, go ahead and leave them in my comments on YouTube. Chris Lee TV, signing out. Deuces.